I'm Scott Allen Miller. It is the 25th of August, 2022, and welcome to my vlog of daily life in León, Nicaragua. Today is Thursday, and it is a work day and a lot, and I mean a truly lot of video work today. I think I actually had 5 videos go live today, so lots of work being done between editing and filming. I did it pretty much all day and was driving Paul out of his mind because I have to spend a lot of that time filming in here because it's about the only time that I get a chance to do it. I can run out, film, and then go back into the office behind me and upload and get things edited and whatever. And I'm at a point where I'm going so fast with so many different channels that I keep switching up the cameras so that I can work from one while another one's charging, while another one's unloading, and so forth. It's actually pretty frantic, but it's really, really cool. Last night, as I told you on the show yesterday, I got the mud working, which is pretty cool. But today, I actually showed it to the kids and got some people at the office checking it out. Alan is checking it out. He thought it looked pretty interesting. And I did not really get a chance to do anything with it myself today. Maybe 20 minutes at most, because I did have a lot of meetings and so forth throughout the day. But it's working pretty well, and I'm excited to get to play with it. No big news today of any sort. Just did normal work during the day, and Erica was here cleaning, so I had to manage the household, of course, and get the kids moved around and all that stuff. So keeping generally busy. Tonight, though, Dominica came in from the beach and ran out and picked up Aldo and April, who have shown up back from Canada. They've been away for a month or more, and we all went out this evening. We went to El Vivero. They all took the taxi. There was not enough room for me in the taxi, so Paul took his motorcycle, and I walked there, which is no big deal for me. It's actually really close. I always like walking there. So we went up there to get dinner as it was getting a little bit later. The kids, I had food for me and them brought up from the beach. So when Dominica came, she dropped off the food for me before she ran over. I just didn't fit in the cab, so I actually saw her as she was going to the restaurant and then met her at the restaurant. Just didn't have a chance to go in the cab with them. So we ate here really quickly because it is so much cheaper getting our food from the beach and eating here than it is eating anywhere else. And honestly, we have so much better food that we really look forward to it. It's ridiculous, and we really wish we were closer to the restaurant at the beach because we would use it so much more. It really is something that we're missing because with all the restaurants combined in León, I think there's basically as much food in all of León that we want to eat as there is just in our own restaurant out on the beach all by itself. I'm not kidding, like it's actually like that. So we ate quickly, got the kids all settled, walked the dogs, and then I walked up to El Vivero. El Vivero is a beautiful location. I've shown it before on the show. It's so nice for sitting out, and it's in such an interesting neighborhood all the way on the west side of El Centro, literally where the river up in the north cuts down along El Centro, and there's kind of a ravine. It doesn't really have a river in it. It's a ravine just feeding the river, so there's no roads on that portion. So where El Vivero is, it actually overlooks that ravine, which makes for it's like a lot of open breeze and a beautiful green space. But it's in a part of the city that doesn't make you feel like it would be that way at all. It actually reminds you a little bit of El Sopan, which is basically on the same road but up in the north in Santa Marta, which is really only so many blocks away. I believe the river comes through in between the two, hence why they're separated. But honestly, the food and the service there are not that good. I think it's one of those situations where it's a premium location, and so they kind of rest on their laurels with having this giant, open, airy, fresh venue that's so beautiful. They have trees growing in the middle of it with the roof done around. Like, it's really well done from a venue perspective. But ordering food takes forever. The orders were wrong. They really screwed up on Paul's food. Kind of like what happened to me last night, where my food came out after everyone else was done eating. His came out the same, but then they got it wrong. And instead of bringing him what was missing, they took all of his food away and then brought it back only after they made the missing thing. So his main meal was then cold, and he had to wait for it for no reason. And the waiter never returned to the table basically the entire night, no matter what. But like while that was going on, and Paul was like, why don't they just bring me my food? We couldn't even get a waiter to talk to about why they took the food away. And it was most of the night was like that. It's a cool place to hang out, but nobody was really in a we'll come back here kind of mode. And it took a number of times of me saying, we should go check this place out. Because I've been there, but I only ever got a salad and beers before, and that worked out okay. But the salad wasn't, and I kept saying, it was an okay Caesar salad, but it was nothing to write home about. And that's about apparently the best thing on the menu. It's a very limited menu in the first place, so it's difficult for us to eat there. There's essentially just fish fingers and a Caesar salad. So after that, I had to run some more errands. They wanted to go out to Geckos, which is it isn't exactly a dance club. It's not a discotheque. It is a large bar, but it's a traditional Nicaraguan upscale bar similar to Mahuna's where we go. And so it has space where you could dance kind of around tables, and that's what people do in Nicaragua. But it's primarily a place for a live band and a lot of people sitting at tables. So it's easy to get food and definitely easy to get drinks. And it's part of the same group as Geckos, in case the name wasn't obvious, and 23 Bar. And so they do a good job. They're well managed, well maintained. Service is always good. They're not fancy, so you don't go there with like this expectation of amazing food or like anything special, but they have good prices and reasonably quality food, and service is always reliable, and they're well lit and safe. And 23 Bar leans towards dancing, whereas Geckos leans towards a live band kind of setting. I've never seen a live band at 23 Bar. It's normally a DJ and much more, they make a dance floor and they have a VIP room, and you can really dance pretty extensively there. And it's more of a place where you go and dance with people. And Geckos or Mihunas, which I don't think they're owned by the same company, but they're managed in a similar way. They're very much the same kind of style. They have slightly better menus with more tables, but there's still space. So if you want to get up and dance, and I did get a little bit of video of people dancing while we were there. But I didn't go straight there. They went straight there. I actually left early from El Vivero because I had to stop by La Colonia, the grocery store, to pick up some food because the kids had requested a stop. And I spent the entire day trying to get there and without any luck. And it was 8:30 and they were going to close because they close at 9. So I ran down, did the grocery shopping, ran into the house, got all the groceries put away, took care of the dogs again, made sure the kids were all good, and then walked to Geckos, which kind of sucks because we live farther from Vivero and from Geckos than they are from each other. So I did about 3 or 4 times the walk I would have had to have done to go directly in between them in order to hit the grocery store and go home. But yeah, these things happen. So went out to Geckos, and Robert Reyes was playing with his band. We never saw him play accordion before. I always see him play guitar, but I had no idea that he played, and none of us did, that he played accordion. And that was really cool. It was a good show. The band really did a good job last night, and Geckos was pretty busy. Lots of people, lots of dancing. And hung out with a number of friends there. We had a really nice evening. And we left around about midnight, which is about when the band wrapped up, like a quarter to midnight or so, and we were probably gone by a quarter after midnight. So not a super late night, and Dominica and I just walked home because it's really not that far. I say it's really not that far. I walked up to Vivero, back from Vivero. Up to Geckos, back from Geckos. So Dominica is not that far. It was 1/4 of what I walked just in that one little bit of walking around. And I had been walking a lot earlier in the day. But it was a really nice night out. It's not too often that Dominica and I manage to get time to be able to go out and have like a full night out and hanging out with friends and everything in town, at least. It's normally like we have to make like a big event out of it to make it possible to happen. So that was very nice. We had a really nice evening and then came home and got the kids off to bed. and walk the dogs again, of course, and all those things. That is really our day. I don't have any big like news or events or anything to talk about today. So that's, I'm going to leave you there because I need to get, this is kind of my one day to really do the video catch up. Tomorrow, I'm meeting up with Roland, another person from the channel who has found me online and is here in León and wants to meet up and hang out. I was supposed to actually meet up with him and a whole bunch of his family yesterday on the beach, and I completely flaked and missed it. And he sent me a message in the morning. In case you don't know, for those of you who try to contact me, I don't keep a phone with me throughout the day. Sometimes I see it, obviously, and I'm recording on it now. So like periods like now, I can't see my phone. You may think that I have the phone facing me and there's a screen and stuff that I'm looking at, but there's not. There's nothing, because the camera on the phone, the good one, is the one that faces forward, and the one that faces you that you can see yourself is the back cam, and it doesn't have nearly the quality of the front cam. And so I want this to look a lot better for you. So I practiced a lot working with the camera, so I have an extremely good idea of where the edges of my vision are based on where the lens is pointing and how far away I am from it. But I actually have nothing to work from. I don't have a mirror. I don't have anything. I do it completely through just paying attention, I guess. So if you send me a message to my phone anytime that I'm recording, and remember, I do like 8 channels, right? That message is going somewhere on the facing the other way. So I have no idea. And that's just when I'm doing this. As many of you know, I walk the dogs like 6 to 8 times per day, often for quite some time. When I'm doing that, I don't have my phone on me for safety reasons, right? Not safety like someone's gonna stab me. Safety like it's really easy for me to bump it and drop it out of my pocket. So I don't carry the phone with me when I'm doing that. Plus, what am I gonna do? Pull it out of my pocket? My hands are tied up with the dogs. I can't use a phone. I do have a watch on, so I know what time it is, and like I can turn on the GPS on my watch if I need to or whatever. This is a very cheap watch. If I knock it off and lose it, it's not the end of the world. But if I drop my phone out of my pocket, that is the end of the world. So I'm very careful about that. And if I'm doing my walks where I have the GoPro and I go out, same deal. My hands are tied up with the GoPro. I'm very distracted because I'm filming. I don't want a phone in my pocket. The only thing I carry are my house keys. So again, all of those times in the day, I don't have a phone with me. Anytime I need to charge my phone does not charge on my desk. It either charges at the back of my office or over in the house. All those times, I don't have a phone on me. If you text me, there's no way for that to go to my desktop. Most things like Instagram don't go to my desktop. So many times, if you're trying to message me during the day, I have mostly limited 2 things. 1, the amount of time during the day that I actually can see a live message is very low. Which is not intentional. It's just there's a lot of things that I do that preclude the ability to have the phone available to me, or any messaging platform available to me. Of the times that I am available, and you can in theory reach me, I have a lot of work that I have to do. And so I have our internal corporate messaging system, I have my desk phone, I have email, and I have WhatsApp, because I really, really need it, and Telegram. Those platforms, as it is overwhelming the number of messages that I have to filter through. I have those actually come to my work machine. So when I'm working during the workday, I see those. At the end of the workday, when I am no longer doing videos because the sun has gone down, when I'm no longer walking the dogs because they're finally in their evening naps, when I've finally stopped sitting at my desk and no longer doing work for the office, at that point, I will often get my phone and often go to dinner or something like that, at which point I can sit and look at all the messages. So messages that come in over other paths through other platforms, I often will only see at lunch or at the end of the day. It's very isolated because I cannot be being interrupted by them, or I would never have any chance to work or make these videos or do anything of the sort. So because of that, Roland was only messaging me over Instagram. It didn't alert me. I forgot to put it on my calendar. 100% my fault. And totally flaked. So they all went to the beach and missed me. So we are going to make another appointment and going to meet up tomorrow for lunch here in León. He's going to be in town anyway, so not a huge deal. They did not go to the beach just for me, so luckily that was not me destroying their day or anything, but I'm very sorry that that happened. I try not to do that. I am very adamant about everyone putting things on calendars, and I totally missed that, so that's on me. So tomorrow, Dominica is spending the whole day getting ready for the volleyball tournament, and I am going to be meeting up with Roland and doing video work tomorrow. I have my day mostly blocked off for that. I have a few other things, but it's all on my calendar already, I hope. And my goal is to have a video game evening with the kids tomorrow. They haven't been wanting to do it for several days, so once that happens, I really have to save up my time, because when they do want to do it, then boom, we really got to spend the evening doing that. I'll probably have to do some grocery shopping, because I have no idea what we're going to eat around the house unless I manage to order something from the hotel again. And then Saturday is the volleyball tournament. I'm going to make another video short about that to make sure to remind everybody, because by the time you see this, it will have already happened. Remember, there's a week delay on these videos. So that is going to be all day Saturday, pretty much. I mean, in the morning, I'm going to be at the house doing normal work stuff, but pretty early, like late lunch, heading to the beach so that I can film and watch the volleyball tournament. Want to be there and support the hotel with all of that stuff. And then I'm planning on being at the hotel on Sunday for most of the day, hanging out. I have friends who are going out there and just hanging out at the hotel, so I'm going to be playing host for the day out there as well. So that is the weekend. And remember, next weekend, I remember every day I mentioned this, we're going to be going out to Matagalpa. Now, in some update news for the channel, like actual channel news, I have added a buy me a coffee option. I know that I'm not sure how to make this channel like financially viable, and there's so many things that I would love to be able to do with the channel. But this takes I think it's kind of obvious. This takes a lot of my time. For every minute that I'm out here filming, I have probably 5 to 10 minutes of getting this video to you, whether that is initially backing it up onto the computer, uploading it, editing it, modifying it, adding information to it, putting that details into YouTube, scheduling it, and then Valentina puts time into making the thumbnail and checking it and all that. There's all these pieces that go in, and often I have to, editing can take many times the length of the video, because at minimum I have to watch the entire video and do things as I go, and at maximum I have to go through it multiple times. So a 10-minute video could be 45 to 80 minutes of editing, realistically, plus all the uploads and downloads and managing the actual channel. So that's just a lot, and it would be really awesome if we could do a lot more with this channel than we are, and it would be great if I had some feedback from you guys. What do my actual audience really look for? And a lot of you do provide feedback, and that's fantastic. Boy, I'd like you to, someone just mentioned, I'd really like it if you went to Jinotega and did some video up there. I would love to go to Jinotega. Going to Jinotega for me is a thing that really takes about 3 days, because I need to travel up. That's going to be several hours, and to be able to film and do stuff and spend time going around hitting restaurants and getting content for you guys will take several days, because it's not a city I live in. In León, you can ask me to do things around the beach. You can be like, wow, I heard there's a restaurant over here. Can you go find that? Or there's a house I want to see. And it's like, oh, I'll just grab my phone or my GoPro, walk down the street, make sure I walk past that spot. It only takes a tiny bit of effort, 1 to 2 hours at most, and it gives me a topic and stuff for the day. So that's fantastic. But when someone's like, oh, I want you to go to Jinotega, I would love to do that. Like, I'm not complaining at all. But just realistically, that means hours to get out there, right? It's like 6 hours away, 5 hours away, something like that, because you basically have to go to Matagalpa and then an hour more up into the mountains. I have to stay there, right? Realistically, I have to take my kids, which I wouldn't want to go without my kids, right? Because they're my kids. So we have to go out there, we have to get a hotel, and then I have to spend a bunch of time doing filming and stuff while we're there. And then I have to manage that I'm not at home working, and it's a lot. And I'm not saying it's like super expensive, because, you know, a hotel here is between $30 and $50 a night for most of the places. But in these smaller towns, there's often not a lot of selection of hotels. So if we're going to Jinotega, I may have just 5 hotels to choose from. And we do want one that is somewhat nice. I'm not looking for something fancy, but these costs add up. And if I'm going to take a taxi out there or drive, or if I have to put everyone on a bus, which they're not going to be very happy about going up there, you understand, it adds up. It would be nice to have a small amount of budget from the channel that allows for some of these things, because if the channel is paying for them, it's much easier for me to go to my wife, to Dominica, and say, oh, well, we made this much from the channel, and we're going to spend it on going to hotels and you know, a new GoPro for the channel, whatever, so that we can continue to make the channel. And she'll be like, well, if that's where it's coming from, that's where it goes, right? It would be great to get some of that going. So I'm experimenting a little bit with Buy Me a Coffee because I've heard that is a really easy mechanism for tipping or participating in the channel in a very direct way for those of you who may be interested in doing so. The channel is at a point where it can monetize. I'm going to be looking into that, but that I think brings in somewhere in the vicinity of $3 a month is what I've heard if we're doing moderately well. Like, that sounds absurd, but realistically, that for the marketing, like that, it can't be. I don't even know how it could be $3, right? So a lot of those things are a challenge, and we're trying some stuff out. And I just wanted to let you guys know, because if you go down there, you can see the Go Buy Me a Coffee link, and I've never used it before, so I'm interested to see how that turns out. And of course, I do have a book on Linux administration. Feel free to buy that. That would be awesome, but not very many of this audience from my vlog are going to be interested in Linux administration best practices on Amazon. Just in case you are, absolutely please go support me through that means. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. Questions below. Ask about whatever. Give me ideas for topics that you want me to speak about. And that's about it. I'm going to see all of you tomorrow.